In recent years, fatal accidents involved with motor vehicles in McHenry County have been at an all-time high. In 2012, 26 residents of McHenry died in fatal car crashes. In 2013, 17, and by June 2014, 9 had already passed away. In all of these years, vehicle crashes killed at least 4 times as many people as homicides. In 2014 alone, there were 1,107 cases filed to the McHenry County Circuit Court related to DUIs, and 44,362 cases related to traffic violations. Just traffic violations alone account for over 72% of all cases sent through the court. These court filings range from parking or moving violations to vehicular manslaughter.
I'm Paul Dyer. I'm the new Dean of Students at McHenry West High School.
What are your responsibilities?
Discipline for the entire school. Any project designated by Mrs. Potoff, the principal. Also working in conjunction with the 2 assistant principals, Mr. Fitzgibbons and Mrs. Bogren.
So at West, you handle the parking lot and getting the kids out of school. Can you please describe what you see on a daily basis?
Yes, the parking lots, from my understanding, has been an issue here for many years. It's the only high school I've ever seen that only has one exit and entrance to the lot. So the physical layout of the lot poses a problem in itself. I watched the traffic the first 2 weeks of school with our new school resource officer, Officer Riviaco, and it was clearly evident that something had to be done. Kids were frustrated, they had to get to jobs and sitting in long lines, and we witnessed almost multiple accidents daily. The lot is much better. The only problem I continue to face is students not really going down the end of the aisles like they're supposed to. They're starting to drive across the lot. Students have come in to complain that it's still taking too long, and the reason it's taking too long is because they don't go to the end of their aisles. When they come shooting across, you got a giant pile on each end, and I'm only one person, and I can't be everywhere, but if everybody would go to their designated aisles, everybody would get out a lot quicker. I know the kids want to get out even faster, but actually when you make adjustments that are not in the plan, it's only causing things to be worse.
So as a driver's ed teacher, what were some of the most important things you taught your students?
First and foremost is the responsibility that goes with driving. Not only do you have to be mindful of yourself on the road, but you have to be mindful of others. To that extent, I told the kids that cars nowadays are not even made like they were in years past. In the 50s, you could have 2 cars go head on, and the most you'd have was a fender bender. But then, of course, when those cars use too much gas, they come out with much lighter models. So the protection around kids is not like it used to be when I was a kid. So when you get into these severe accidents, plus kids not buckling up, because the cars are made a lot lightweight to be saving on gas, it's all the more important that kids buckle up. It's important that kids follow the rules as far as the first years of their permit. They're only allowed X amount of kids in the car. Still, they pack kids. I know kids want to be nice and can't say no to a friend, but every time there's too many kids in that car and kids can't be buckled up, you know, where kids not buckled up, and most kids killed in car crashes are those that are not buckled up. Most likely they're thrown from the vehicle. They have to be considerate on the road. There's a time and place to text. There's a time and place to talk on the phone.
So what rules do you see kids breaking nowadays?
Most of the time, I see either kids not buckled up or kids on cell phones. Sometimes, kids are speeding too fast. Sometimes they still like to take off too fast at a traffic light, not making sure the guy coming the other way is actually stopping on their red light, because now you got that guy who wants to run the light.
One last question. Do you believe reckless driving is a huge problem in McHenry?
No, I don't. I really think the number one problem is cell phones and people on phones, and that's not only McHenry, that's everywhere I go. I think kids, for the most part, are responsible. I think the bigger problem, I think stats are showing it, that cell phones are a major cause of car accidents. And of course, the second one I happen to know of offhand is drivers being distracted. So, it's nice to pick up your friends, but take turns driving so you're not always the driver. And you can still be in a conversation with your friends, but you don't have to look at them. People are always taught, look at somebody when you're talking to them. Well, when you're the driver, you can still talk. But those are what I see as the major problem.
People all over the world, including McHenry County, are distracted by various things, and it seems that when people are driving, it's the hardest not to get distracted. These distractions can be created by specific things, such as having too many people in the car, looking at people when they are talking, and lastly, but most importantly, using a cell phone. Interviews and research both point towards the amount of distractions that are caused by the usage of cell phones. Unintentional distractions are not the only problem with drivers in McHenry. Driving recklessly has a large impact on the economy of the town, as well as an increase in fatalities occurring in more severe accidents, which are normally caused by excessive speeding. Speeding is a large problem throughout McHenry and is a problem overall throughout the United States. And lastly, research shows that people are not buckling seatbelts and are causing hazard to themselves and others in the car. As a witness of an accident, describe what you saw.
Um, the whole family went out to a fireworks demonstration in McHenry, and we sat on the lawn across from the old Walmart. And then all of a sudden, a gentleman, an older man, was walking across Route 31, and a motorcycle started veering down the road really fast, and out of the blue just hit the man crossing the road. And he never saw it coming. And next thing you knew it, both of them were laying on the side of the road, and everybody started rushing over to try and help him. And I think he made it, but it was just crazy how he wasn't paying attention at all, the motorcyclist. He was just going way too fast for going through a small town where you saw people on both sides of the road, out for obviously the 4th of July. So that was a horrible accident.
As a parent, how do you want your kids to behave while driving?
What I would like my kids, or probably any kid of being a parent, is the first thing is you have to keep your eyes on the road. That's first and foremost. The rest of it would be to keep a safe distance between your car and the car in front of you. And one thing I always got from my father was to always have an out, because you could be the best driver in the world, but you don't know what something could happen to you. So, if something happens, you always have to be aware of your surroundings. Can you get out this way? Could you get out this way? Because you don't want to hurt somebody else and you don't want to hurt yourself. I always like that. And never do anything in the car but drive. You can do that when you get out of the car. What are some other things? To me, those are the most important, because driving is driving. Everything else can wait.
When you're driving about McHenry, what do other people do that you say that may be harmful?
One of them would be using your cell phone in school zones. Well, using your cell phone at any point, but especially when you do anything in a school zone. Second would be putting on makeup or anything distracting while you're trying to drive. And the third, and one of my personal things that I hate, is, I don't know how to describe this, but when you see people in a lane that you know is going to merge to the left, and they purposely speed up to cut off the flow of traffic in any situation. I really detest that. immensely. The amount of accidents that can cause is horrible.